Bound by Destiny, the love story of a shaman and an elven princess. Once, in an age long forgotten by men, when the forests still whispered the names of the stars and the rivers carried the ancient songs of creation upon their currents, there lived a young shaman named Tolian. He belonged to the people of the Bear, a proud tribe who dwelt beneath the towering peaks of the Shadow Mountains. Their villages stood among vast pine forests where sunlight filtered through emerald needles and the scent of cedar lingered in the air. The Bear people lived close to the land, honoring the spirits of earth, sky, and beast through sacred ceremonies that had endured since the dawn of memory. Though still young by the standards of his people, Tolian had already earned great respect among the tribe. The elders often sought his counsel, and hunters spoke his name with admiration. He possessed gifts that few could match. He knew the healing properties of every herb that grew beneath the mountain sun. He could read omens in the flight of ravens and interpret the language of the wind as it moved through the trees. During times of drought, he performed sacred rites that called rain from distant clouds, and when sickness threatened the village, it was Tolian who journeyed into the spirit world seeking remedies and guidance. Yet despite the honor he received and the wisdom he possessed, a quiet emptiness lingered within his heart. It haunted him in moments of solitude. He felt it when he stood beneath the stars and gazed into the endless heavens. He felt it while listening to the elders recite the stories of ancestors who had found their destinies. He felt it even during his deepest spiritual journeys, when his soul wandered among realms unseen by mortal eyes. Something was missing, but what? No spirit would answer him. For many winters, he prayed beside sacred fires and sought wisdom from the ancient powers. He asked the great bear spirit who guarded his people. He questioned the river spirits, the mountain guardians, and even the dream walkers who traveled between worlds. Each time, silence was his only answer. Then came the spring of silver blossoms. It was said that such blossoms appeared only once every 100 years, covering the valleys beneath the Shadow Mountains in a shimmering blanket of white and silver petals. During that same season, a strange crimson comet appeared in the heavens. Night after night it blazed across the sky like a fiery spear cast by the gods themselves. The sight unsettled the elders. They gathered around the sacred fire and debated its meaning. Some believed it foretold war. Others feared it signaled a great change in the balance between the mortal world and the spirit realms. At last they reached a decision. Tolian would undertake a vision quest. The eldest shaman called to him.
The gods are speaking. The comet is their messenger. You must seek its meaning.
Tolian accepted the task without hesitation. On the morning of the first day, he journeyed alone to a sacred hill overlooking the endless sea of forest. The place was ancient, older than the tribe itself. Legends claimed that spirits often gathered there beneath the stars. For 7 days he fasted. For 7 nights he remained upon the hill. He consumed only water drawn from a sacred spring hidden among moss-covered stones. Each evening he lit a ceremonial fire and fed it branches of cedar and juniper. The fragrant smoke spiraled upward toward the heavens, carrying his prayers to the unseen realms beyond the sky. As the days passed, his body grew weak, yet his spirit grew stronger. The sounds of the mortal world slowly faded away. The boundaries between waking and dreaming became blurred. Sometimes he thought he heard voices within the wind. Sometimes shadows moved among the trees where no living creature stood. Still he remained, waiting, listening, seeking. Then came the 7th night. The moon hung full and luminous above the world. Countless stars glittered across the heavens, and the red comet burned brighter than ever before. Tolian sat before his fire in silent meditation. He found himself standing within a dream unlike any he had ever known. A vast silver forest stretched endlessly in every direction. Every leaf shimmered with moonlight. Crystal streams flowed between luminous trees whose trunks gleamed like polished ivory. White stags wandered peacefully through the glades, their antlers sparkling with starlight. Strange flowers bloomed beneath the branches, glowing softly with colors unseen in the mortal world. The air itself seemed alive with magic. At the heart of this enchanted realm stood a magnificent oak tree. It was larger than any tree Tolian had ever seen. Its roots disappeared into the depths of the earth, while its colossal branches climbed so high they appeared to touch the stars themselves. Constellations shone among its leaves as though the heavens had become part of the tree. Beneath its ancient boughs stood a young woman. The moment Tolian saw her, his breath caught. She was unlike anyone he had ever encountered. Her gown appeared woven from living silver and emerald leaves that shimmered with every movement. Her long hair flowed to her waist like liquid moonlight, radiant and beautiful beyond mortal comparison. Her eyes were the deep green of spring forests after rain, filled with both kindness and ancient wisdom. An elf, but not merely an elf. Even before she spoke, Tolian sensed a nobility that surrounded her like an aura of light. She was a princess. As their eyes met, the world seemed to stand still. The distant streams ceased their murmuring. The stars above appeared frozen in place. For a heartbeat that felt like eternity, neither moved, neither spoke. Something ancient stirred between them, a feeling neither fully understood, yet both immediately recognized. At last Tolian found his voice. He asked softly,
"Who are you?"
The young princess smiled. It was a smile capable of brightening the entire forest. When she spoke, her voice was like music carried upon a gentle breeze, graceful and melodic.
"I am Shalana of the Moonwood Court. And you?"
"I am Tolian, Shaman of the Bear People."
For several moments, they simply gazed at one another. Though they were strangers, it felt as though they had known each other across countless lifetimes. Then Shalana laughed softly. The sound was like silver bells ringing in the distance. As she spoke, her eyes sparkled with amusement.
"It seems that the spirits have woven an unusual path for us."
Tolian felt himself smile in return.
"I believe they have."
Yet before another word could be spoken, the dream began to unravel. The silver forest faded. The stars dissolved into mist. The great oak vanished into darkness. Shalana reached toward him, and for a fleeting moment he thought he felt her fingertips brush against his own. Then everything disappeared. Tolian awoke with a sudden gasp beside the dying embers of his ceremonial fire. Dawn was beginning to paint the eastern sky with shades of gold and rose. The forest around him was ordinary once more. The wind had returned. Birds sang among the trees. Yet his heart pounded as though he had truly walked another world. The vision remained crystal clear within his memory, more vivid than any dream, more real than the waking world itself. And though he could not explain why, Tolian knew with absolute certainty that the mysterious elven princess named Shalana was not merely a vision. She was real. And somehow, somewhere beyond the forests and mountains he called home, their destinies had already begun to intertwine. Months passed after Tolian's vision beneath the stars, but the memory of Shalana never faded. Though he continued his duties among the bear people, healing the sick, guiding hunters, and communing with the spirits, his thoughts often drifted back to the silver forest and the mysterious elven princess who had appeared within it. Sometimes he wondered if the vision had been nothing more than a divine lesson, a fleeting glimpse into a realm he was never meant to enter again. Yet deep within his heart, he could not dismiss the certainty he had felt upon waking. She was real. The spirits had shown him something true. Then, one autumn afternoon, fate finally revealed its hand. Tolian had traveled far from his village in search of a rare plant known as moonroot, a small shrub prized by shamans for its healing properties. The herb grew only in the oldest parts of the forest, where few dared to wander and where ancient spirits were said to walk unseen among the trees. The day was quiet and cool. Shafts of golden sunlight filtered through towering pines, illuminating carpets of moss and fallen leaves. As Tolian searched among the undergrowth, he noticed something unusual. A narrow path meandered between two enormous oak trees. He froze. He had walked these woods since childhood. He knew every stream, every glade, every hunting trail. Yet he had never seen this path before. The trail seemed almost hidden from sight, as though it existed halfway between the mortal world and something beyond it. Silver flowers bloomed along its edges despite the season, and a faint shimmer hung in the air above it. Tolian felt a familiar stirring in his spirit, the same feeling he had experienced during his vision quest. The spirits were guiding him. Without hesitation, he followed the mysterious trail. The deeper he ventured, the stranger the forest became. The trees grew taller and older, their trunks wide enough to shelter entire families. The air seemed sweeter, carrying fragrances unlike anything found in the mortal world. Birds with iridescent feathers sang melodies he had never heard before, while butterflies of silver and sapphire drifted among shafts of sunlight. Time itself seemed to lose meaning. Minutes felt like hours. Hours felt like moments. Then the path opened into a clearing. Tolian's breath caught in his throat. Before him stretched the silver forest, exactly as he had seen it in his vision. Moonlit leaves shimmered despite the daylight. Crystal-clear streams ambled between luminous trees. The air glowed with gentle enchantment. For a moment he could do nothing but stare. His heart hammered against his ribs. The vision had been real, every part of it. Slowly, almost afraid the scene might vanish, he stepped forward. Then he saw her, standing beside a crystal stream. Her reflection dancing upon the water surface was Shalana. Her silver gold hair shimmered in the light, filtering through the branches. Her emerald gown appeared woven from living leaves, and her eyes sparkled with warmth and quiet amusement. She was even more beautiful than he remembered. Most importantly, she was tangible. Not a dream, not a spirit, not a vision. She was actually there in front of him. For a long moment, neither moved. Then Shalana smiled. It was the same smile he remembered from beneath the great oak tree, a smile that seemed capable of brightening the entire forest.
You found the path.
Tolian stood speechless. All the questions he had imagined asking vanished from his mind. He finally found his voice.
The vision, it was true.
Shalana's laughter echoed softly through the clearing, like wind chimes stirred by a gentle breeze.
Of course it was. The spirits rarely waste their time.
Something about her confidence made him smile despite his astonishment.
You knew I would come?
I hoped you would.
She glanced toward the silver stream, a dreamy expression on her face that made her even more beautiful.
The spirits showed me the same vision.
Those words sent a thrill through Tolian's heart. For all those months, he had believed himself alone in carrying the memory of that night. Now he knew she had remembered him as well. From that day forward, the hidden path became sacred to them both. Whenever his duties allowed, Tolian journeyed into the enchanted forest. And whenever he arrived, Shalana was there waiting. At first, they simply talked. They spent hours sitting beside crystal streams or wandering beneath silver-leaf trees, sharing stories about the worlds they came from. Tolian spoke of the Bear people and their ancient traditions. He described winter hunts beneath skies filled with dancing northern lights. He told her of sacred ceremonies around roaring fires, of spirit journeys into unseen realms, and of the powerful bond his people shared with wolves, bears, and eagles. Shalana listened with fascination. In return, she spoke of the Moonwood Court. She described vast elven cities hidden among living trees, whose branches formed elegant halls and towers. She told stories of moonlit festivals, where elves danced until dawn beneath glowing blossoms. She spoke of ancient songs capable of encouraging forests to grow and streams to change their course. Some evenings, she would sing those songs for him. When she did, Tolian watched in wonder as flowers slowly opened their petals, though night had already fallen. Their worlds could not have been more different. One was a realm of tribal villages, sacred fires, and rugged mountain life. The other was a kingdom of enchantment, ancient beauty, and timeless magic. Yet beneath those differences, they discovered something deeper, a harmony. Both peoples honored the living earth. Both revered the spirits that moved unseen through forest and river. Both believed that all life formed part of a sacred circle, connecting every creature beneath the heavens. The more they learned about one another, the more those differences seemed insignificant. Friendship blossomed naturally between them. Friendship soon became affection, and affection slowly deepened into something neither could deny: love. They wandered together through vast meadows filled with wildflowers that swayed like colorful oceans beneath the summer sun. They climbed high hills to watch meteors streak across the heavens while sharing dreams of the future. They sat beside quiet lakes reflecting moonlight and listened to owls calling from distant trees. Sometimes they spoke for hours. Sometimes they sat in comfortable silence, simply enjoying one another's presence. When Tolian entered deep trances to seek wisdom from the spirit world, Shalana remained nearby, watching over him until he returned. When Shalana sang her ancient songs to awaken sleeping flowers or coax blossoms from bare branches, Tolian listened with awe, believing her voice more beautiful than any melody he had ever heard. With each passing season, their bond grew stronger. Spring followed winter. Summer followed spring. Autumn leaves fell and returned again. The years seemed to drift by like leaves carried upon a gentle stream. Yet no matter how much time passed, their love only deepened. Both knew, though neither yet spoke the words aloud, that the spirits had done far more than bring them together. They had woven their destinies into a single thread, and that thread was leading them toward a future neither could yet imagine. Not everyone welcomed the union with open hearts. Among the Bear people, there were those who remembered old tales of elven pride and hidden magic, fearing that the Moonwood Court would seek to influence or diminish their ancient ways. Likewise, some among the elves viewed humans with suspicion, believing them to be impulsive, short-lived, and too often driven by ambition rather than wisdom. Whispered doubts lingered in gathering halls, and cautious glances were exchanged whenever members of the two peoples crossed paths. Yet Tolian and Shalana refused to allow fear, prejudice, or old grievances to determine the future of their realms. They understood that mistrust could only be overcome through understanding, and that peace required patience as much as courage. Together, they invited both peoples to meet, learn, and share their traditions. Festivals were held where stories were exchanged beneath the stars, and feasts were prepared using recipes from both cultures. Hunters, healers, artisans, and musicians gathered to demonstrate their crafts and teach willing students. The Bear people generously shared their treasure healing practices, passing down knowledge of medicinal herbs, restorative salves, and ceremonies that honored the balance between body, spirit, and the natural world. In return, the elves taught ancient songs woven with subtle magic, melodies said to encourage saplings to grow stronger, flowers to bloom more brightly, and forests to flourish in renewed vitality. As seasons passed, wary strangers gradually became familiar faces. Children played together without concern for old divisions, merchants established thriving trade routes, and craftsmen collaborated to create works unlike anything either culture had produced before. Friendships blossomed, and in time, even love crossed boundaries once thought impossible to bridge. Slowly but surely, the barriers that had separated the two peoples began to crumble. Old suspicions lost their power, replaced by mutual respect and genuine affection. Eventually, even the most skeptical elders could no longer deny the truth that had unfolded before their eyes. The union between Tolian and Shalana had brought prosperity, harmony, and newfound hope to both realms, proving that trust and compassion could succeed where fear and division had long prevailed. One crisp autumn evening, beneath the warm glow of a great harvest moon, Tolian invited Shalana to walk with him beyond the village and into the hills. The trees blazed with shades of gold, amber, and crimson, their leaves whispering softly as a cool breeze drifted through the forest. He led her to a familiar place, a quiet hill overlooking the valley below. It was here, years ago, that his vision quest had begun. Here he had fasted, prayed, and sought guidance from the spirits, never imagining that the path they revealed would lead him to the maiden standing beside him now. The same stars glittered overhead, scattered like diamonds across the velvet sky. The same wind moved gently through the towering pines, carrying with it the scent of earth, wood smoke, and fallen leaves. Everything felt wonderfully unchanged, and yet entirely transformed. Shalana gazed around and smiled softly.
You brought me here for a reason. I can see it in your eyes.
Tolian laughed quietly, his expression both nervous and affectionate.
I have something to ask you.
Her smile widened, touched with playful amusement.
You usually do.
For a moment, Tolian simply looked at her, taking in the silver sheen of moonlight woven through her hair and the kindness shining in her eyes. Then, gathering his courage, he lowered himself onto one knee. From a small leather pouch at his belt, he carefully withdrew a ring unlike any other. It had been lovingly crafted from sacred oak gathered from the grove where his ancestors held ceremonies. Delicate patterns representing the 4 seasons had been carved into the wood, and a band of shining silver, gifted by the elves of the Moonwood Court, was inlaid around its center, symbolizing the joining of their 2 peoples. Tolian reached for Shalana's hand and held it gently in his own.
The spirits guided me to this hill many years ago. At the time, I believed they were showing me the path I was meant to walk. Now I understand they were leading me to something far greater.
He squeezed her hand tenderly.
They led me to you.
His voice grew warm with emotion.
You are my closest friend, my greatest joy, and the song that fills my heart. You have shown me worlds I never dreamed existed, stood beside me when others doubted us, and taught me that love can heal even the oldest wounds.
Shalana's eyes shimmered with unshed tears as she listened. Tolian lifted the ring.
I cannot imagine walking another season of my life without you at my side.
He smiled, his own eyes shining.
Shalana, will you marry me and make me the happiest man alive?
For a heartbeat, she simply stared at him, overwhelmed by the depth of his words and the love reflected in his gaze. Tears slipped freely down her cheeks as she pressed a hand to her lips, trying to steady her trembling breath. At last, she knelt beside him, laughing softly through her tears.
Oh, dear Tolian, yes.
Then, with a radiant smile that seemed brighter than the moon itself, she repeated more firmly.
Yes, 1,000 times, yes.
Beneath the watchful stars and the blessing of the harvest moon, they embraced, knowing that a new chapter in their story and in the history of their peoples had just begun. The following spring, when the first wildflowers awakened from winter's sleep and the forests shimmered with fresh green leaves, Tolian and Shalana were wed during the Merithid Lothia, the most sacred celebration of renewal observed by the Moonwood Court, meaning the Festival of Blossoms. The elves chose an ancient grove hidden deep within the heart of Moonwood. Towering oaks, older than memory itself, encircled the clearing, their massive branches arching overhead to form a living cathedral beneath the open sky. Moss draped from their limbs like emerald banners, and shafts of golden sunlight filtered through the canopy, dappling the earth with dancing patterns of light. Thousands of lanterns, crafted from crystal and silver glass, hung from the branches, glowing softly even in daylight as if they contained captured starlight. The forest floor was transformed into a tapestry of color. Petals of bluebells, foxgloves, primroses, and wild roses had been scattered among fresh greenery, creating a fragrant carpet that stretched toward the center of the grove. In keeping with ancient Elven custom, whose roots reached back to traditions much like those of the old Celtic pagans, the ceremony honored the sacred harmony between earth and sky, sun and moon, life and death, and the endless turning of the seasons. Marriage was not merely considered a union between 2 individuals, but a joining of spirits, witnessed by the natural world itself. Before dawn, druids of the Moonwood Court gathered alongside the shamans of the Bear People. Together, they purified the sacred grove with cedar smoke, juniper, and sweet herbs, offering prayers to the spirits who guarded the forest and to the ancestors who watched from beyond the veil. As the first rays of sunlight touched the treetops, guests assembled in a great circle around a stone altar draped in ivy, hawthorn branches, and garlands of spring blossoms. Members of both peoples stood side by side, elves in flowing garments embroidered with leaves and stars, and humans clad in ceremonial furs and finely woven cloaks, adorned with beads, feathers, and polished stones. Shalana appeared from among the trees like a spirit of spring itself. She wore a gown of soft ivory and pale green, embroidered with delicate silver thread that shimmered whenever she moved. Upon her brow rested a crown woven from hawthorn blossoms, symbols of love and protection, intertwined with silver leaves hammered by elven smiths. Tolian waited before the altar wearing ceremonial furs gifted by his people. Oak leaves had been embroidered along the edges in honor of strength and endurance, while moonstones set into his mantle reflected the pale light of dawn, symbolizing the bond he now shared with the moonwood. As birds sang overhead, and a gentle breeze stirred the blossoms at their feet, the couple stepped barefoot onto the dew-kissed grass, grounding themselves in the earth that sustained all living things. The high druid raised a carved staff of ash wood and spoke in a clear, resonant voice.
Today, two paths become one road.
An elder shaman stepped forward, placing his hand over his heart.
Two spirits become one fire. May its light warm those who follow after them and never fade.
Then came the hand fasting. An exquisitely braided cord, woven by elven artisans from threads of silver, green silk, and white wool, was brought forth. Tiny charms shaped like oak leaves, crescent moons, and bear claws had been carefully sewn into its strands. The cord was gently wrapped around Tolian's and Shalana's joined hands, binding them together as a symbol of their intertwined destinies. The High Druid asked,
Will you walk together through joy and sorrow, through sunlight and shadow, through all the seasons granted to you?
Tolian looked into Shalana's luminous eyes.
We will, for so is our desire.
Shalana smiled through tears of happiness.
We will, for so is our heart's desire.
The gathered circle echoed with blessings in both human and elven tongues, their voices rising like birdsong beneath the ancient trees. Next came the sharing of waters. A crystal vessel filled with water drawn from Moonwood's sacred spring was carried forward, while an elder of the Bear people presented a carved bowl containing water gathered from their holy river. Slowly, reverently, the two waters were poured together into a single silver basin. The streams mingled instantly, impossible to separate again. Together, Tolian and Shalana lifted the bowl and drank from it, each taking a sip before passing it to the other. It was a solemn promise that neither life would ever again stand apart from the other, and that whatever joys, burdens, or trials lay ahead, they would be faced as one. At last, attendants lit a great bonfire in the center of the grove. Sparks swirled upward like tiny stars ascending into the heavens. Hand in hand, still bound by the silver-green cord, the newlyweds walked around the fire 3 times. The first circle was for love, the force that had brought them together against all odds. The second was for loyalty, the promise to remain steadfast through hardship and change. The third was for the generations yet to come, for children, descendants, students, and all those who would inherit the peace their union had helped create. As they completed the final circuit, the Druids carefully cut the hand-fasting cord, not to separate them, but to signify that their bond no longer depended upon any physical tie. Their vows now lived within their hearts, carried in every breath and every step they would take together. The grove erupted in joyous cheers. Elves lifted their voices in ancient songs older than kingdoms, melodies that flowed like rivers through the forest. Human drums answered in steady, jubilant rhythms that echoed among the hills. Dancers whirled beneath the lanterns, children laughed among the flowers, and even the wind seemed to join the celebration, dancing playfully through the branches of the ancient oaks. On that radiant spring morning, beneath the blessing of earth, sky, sun, and moon, Tolian and Shalana became husband and wife, and two peoples took another step toward becoming one family. That night, long after the songs had faded into the distance and the last dancers had drifted away from the lantern-lit grove, Tolian and Shalana slipped quietly into the forest together. Moonlight poured silver across the woodland paths, illuminating petals scattered by the day's celebration. A cool spring breeze moved through the trees, carrying the faint scent of blossoms, cedar smoke, and dying embers from the wedding fire. Without needing to speak, they made their way to a familiar place. At the crest of a gentle hill stood the great oak from Tolian's vision quest. Its immense trunk was deeply furrowed with age, and its broad branches stretched toward the heavens as though embracing the stars themselves. It was here, years before, that a young shaman burdened with questions had fasted, prayed, and sought guidance from the spirits. It was here that he had hoped for a glimpse of his future, though he had never imagined how wondrous that future would become. Now he returned not as a seeker, but as a husband. The same stars glittered overhead, countless and eternal against the velvet darkness. The same wind whispered through the pines and stirred the leaves of the ancient oak. The hill seemed unchanged by time, yet Tolian felt as though an entire lifetime separated the person he had once been from the man who now stood beneath its branches. Shalana stepped closer and rested her head gently upon his shoulder. Together, they gazed upward at the night sky in companionable silence, listening to the soft chorus of crickets and the distant call of an owl hidden among the trees. At length, she smiled.
The spirits knew all along, didn't they?
Tolian was quiet for a moment. He thought of the lonely young shaman who had climbed this hill seeking answers, uncertain of his path and fearful of what lay beyond the horizon. He remembered the nights spent wondering whether he would ever find his purpose, whether the spirits truly heard his prayers, and whether he would one day understand the meaning behind the visions they had shown him. Now, standing beside the one he loved, with two peoples united in celebration behind them, and a future filled with possibilities stretching before them, the answer seemed wonderfully simple. A gentle smile touched his lips. He looked up at the stars shining through the branches of the great oak, and squeezed Shalana's hand.
Yes, I think they did.
They stood together beneath the ancient tree for a long time afterward, saying nothing more, for there were moments when words became unnecessary. The hill had seen the beginning of Tolian's journey. Tonight, it bore witness to its fulfillment. Or perhaps as the stars wheeled silently overhead and the world turned toward a new dawn, it marked not an ending at all, but the beginning of another story yet to be written, one they would walk together, hand in hand, through every season of their lives. And beneath the ancient branches, while moonlight shimmered upon the silver leaves, the shaman and the elven princess began the next chapter of their story together, a tale that would be remembered by both their peoples for centuries to come. If you enjoyed this tale, please leave a like, a comment, and subscribe. It would mean the world to us.